So, this might be similar to a video you may have just seen called 17 in College. This one is titled similarly 18 in College, because now we're adults, people. Yup, we are an adults. We have now done high school and we know all the stuff and we're an adult now. we're an adult. So, let's get into it. First off, adjusting to social life is a crazy change, because you go from a small high school or maybe even a big high school to a fucking huge ass campus, and you can't even walk around it because it's so fucking huge, and I lose my fucking breath because it's literally the worst. Social life in college is so weird, because you would think, oh, I'll find my place. It's not that easy. You have to make yourself a place. And I mean that so genuinely, because there's not just going to be people there with open arms. There's not going to be things there for the open arms. It may look like it. They may market it that way. I'm in business. I know what I'm talking about. They may market those clubs to be for you or for people like you. They may market Greek life to be for you or to not be for you. But that space that you're thinking of being in, you have to fill it. And you have to be really intentional in filling it. Like, you have to go into it confident. Like if you're let's say you're super into robotics and you're like, man, I'm gonna join I want to join the robotics club, but I don't know. I wonder if I'll find any friends in there. You go to one meeting and you make no friends, and then you're like, oh, well, I'm not doing robotics club. First off, no, because if you want to make friends, you have to put yourself out there, and I mean that so genuinely. You have to be the one to go up to people and be like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm into robotics. Are you? And if they're like, yeah, I'm into blah, blah. Great. Now you have a conversation. If you go into it and you're just sitting down, you're listening to whatever's going on in the meeting or whatever, and you're not really participating, you're not really saying anything, you're not really asking questions, you're not staying curious, then, well, guess what? You're not going to feel like you have a place. And they're not going to automatically make you feel welcome like that. And if they do, bless. That's great. But that's not always the case. Most of the time is not the case. And that's the same with Greek life. And I'm not going to really talk about Greek life because I'm not trying to get in trouble now. But you have to find your place. And you have to go through the hoops to find your place and make it a home. And if you can't, then it's probably not the place for you. But anyways,
you'll learn eventually.
Yeah, you need to find.
Be prepared to be lonely.
You need to be able to think about, some stuff and be like, be ready to push yourself into those spaces. How I met my very good friend from we had orientation in the summer before school started in the fall, and I literally came up to him and his group of friends and was like, we're playing pool, like the game, and they were like, who are you? What? They didn't say that. They were a lot nicer. They were like, yeah, let's do it. But like, they were like, what? Who are you? Hey, I'm Autumn. Guess what? I'm gonna play with you guys. So make some room. And that's exactly what happened. And now me and him meet up every single week over coffee because we got close. But it's literally that. I mean, simple, I guess, is a weird term because for some people they're really anxious about that stuff. But it's that easy. You just go up to someone, you start a conversation, or you can use the oldest trick in the book, a good old compliment. Oh, I love your earrings. Where'd you get them? And if they're like still being a bitch to you, well then F them. Then don't be friends with them. Then don't talk to them. Go to someone else and compliment them on something else. And you find someone that will want to be your friend. And you do that. Because it's not easy at first. But if you're in college, you need to put yourself out there. And you can't just rely on your roommate. You can't rely on your old friends. You can't rely on your parents. You can't rely on your professors. No, you need to rely on yourself. And you need to be like, okay, I'm going to do this thing. Or I'm going to talk to this person. Or I'm going to try and be friends with this person. And I mean try because if someone's like F you, you don't want to be their friend. So don't even try. But you need to, you're probably not going to get an automatic invite into some situations. You need to be able to make room for yourself. So yeah. And just, be intentional about your social situations. Becoming an adult is such a crazy feeling because suddenly now you have to do adult things. And I mean, like, you have to get a job, you have to implement daily chores into your life that you may not have had, and you're suddenly taking these really hard classes in college, and you're like, oh my god, I don't have my teachers aren't giving me extensions, what am I gonna do? Yeah, that's gonna happen, and it's gonna fucking suck. So you gotta adult. And with jobs specifically, if you can get a job in high school, honestly, it's probably the best thing you can do, because then you kind of know what it's like to have a boss and stuff like that. If you haven't had the opportunity and you're just going into college now and you're like, I need to get a job, then you have a lot of work to do, my friend, because it's hard and it's different. So especially if you don't know how to get a job or whatever, you don't have the support of your parents to fall back on, or you don't have as much support as you did back at home when you were in that. No, you're in a new space now. You're in a whole new environment now, so you don't have that, really, unless you do. And if you do, great, but I'm talking to people who don't. You're gonna have to look on your, if you're in, it's 18 in college, you're in college, go to your college's website, college, university, I don't care, I'm saying college or university's website. Look at jobs. There should be a section that says all the university's jobs, which ones are available, which ones are not. I was almost applied to a job called zebrafish caretaker. There are those jobs that exist, like the most boring, mundane ones, but also the most unique and interesting ones. So look at them, apply to them. There's no harm. I mean, you may end up cleaning some bathrooms or serving dining food, but it's whatever. It's a job, so take it. I got a super cool job, so I'm happy about it. But like, was my job in high school good? I worked at a retail company at a mall for a year. That was not necessarily the highlight of my life. So you have to go into, like, I'm probably gonna get a shitty job first time around, but that's okay because it's experience that I can use, and it'll pay the bills. That most importantly, you're gonna make money. And you need money in college. A lot of money. Because, listen, I say this with all sincerity. Broke college students, if you're a broke college student, it's a mindset, bro. Like, if you work, you can live, like, pretty well as a college student. If you don't work, if you're just taking classes and you're like, oh, whatever, then, yeah, you're gonna be a fucking broke college student. You're gonna be eating ramen on the floor. Because that's all you can fucking afford, and all of your dining dollars are out of the way. So, yeah. Keep that in mind. But chores. Like, you're gonna have to go grocery shopping. Yeah. And you're probably not gonna have a car because you're in college. And so, you're probably gonna have to walk to the grocery store, and that's annoying. Or you have some campus stores, and you have to go through that. I mean, you could make a grocery list all you want, really. But also, if your parents are willing to buy you food when you're home, ask them before you guys go back to your college town and be like, can you buy me some groceries? And most of the time, well, all the time with my parents, because they miss me when I'm gone. And then when I'm home, I'm like, baby. But most of the time, they're going to say yes. They're going to be like, yeah, of course, you're our fucking cat. You're a kid. We'll buy you some food. And then you'll have a big bag of food, and you make that shit last, bro. Make that shit last, cause yeah, make it last. And if you don't have that opportunity, this is just what I recommend. Make a list of what you eat or what you're willing to eat. Go for food that is easy, cause you may buy pasta, and then you may buy sauce, and you may have a pot for all I care, but when you're 2 midterms in deep for that week, and you have another one the next day, you're not going to want to make pasta. You're not going to want to take the time to boil the noodles, add the sauce, mix it around. Like, you probably also don't have the space for all this shit, by the way, because I got lucky. I'm in a pretty decent room because I'm in one of the bigger ones, but you're probably not as lucky. Or you may not be as lucky, and you may not, have the space for that stuff. But, like, go for easy stuff. But I'm not saying you have to go for fucking ramen noodles, because that's the most typical meal ever. But do what works. Like, if you notice you can make, you'll be willing to eat. It's basically, if it's between ramen noodles and not eating, take the ramen noodles. But, like, if you have other options, healthier options, then take it, because, it's there. With me, I get these, like, I'm a vegetarian, right? So my choices are not super great, but I get these Indian packets, is what I call them. It's basically Indian food in a packet, and you can get one with rice in them. And, bro, I heat them up in the microwave, and that's my dinner most of the time, if I'm home. If I don't have time to go to the dining halls, this is if you don't have time to go to dining halls or access your food on campus, but if it's just me here, I'm gonna buy the easy stuff, and then I'm gonna do that. But yeah, so definitely use what you've got and what's easy. But yeah, even just living with a roommate, that's gonna be a whole change. And now that she's left, I'm gonna get into it, y'all. Listen, I love her to death, but adjusting to living with someone else is hard work. It's hard work. And me and her stuff all the time, because you're two different people, and you have 2 different standards of living and 2 ways of living. And so, ask questions is my guess. If you have the luxury of knowing who your roommate is beforehand, or to talk to them a lot beforehand, get on phone calls, because me and her did not do that. We just kind of went into it not really knowing each other. I mean, we had texted back and forth a little bit, but get curious, ask questions, because, that's going to be a big part of it, because then you find out their emotional maturity, their other maturities, and see how you guys fit together, and talk about the hard stuff, like how you guys sleep. My roommate sleeps in silence, and that's that. I sleep with the fan, so that was a little bit of adjusting, and even just decor. Luckily, me and my roommate are very good at decor, and we kind of have our own spaces for that, too. But, like, that's something you need to talk about. And how clean is she? How messy are you? It's kind of like, those are things you gotta talk about. And it's hard conversations. It's hard, because, but they need to happen. They need to happen. Because you guys are living together, and that's a tough thing to do. So yeah, get curious, ask questions, see what you can do, get involved socially is kind of my biggest thing also. Like, you have to, again, when I said really making space for yourself, but look into it. My biggest thing is get curious, ask questions in general about everything in college. When you become an adult, everything. Literally, just make a list. Emotional and mental stuff. Now, I didn't really talk about this in my last video, and I'm gonna go over it because it's important. You're gonna get sick a lot in college, and I mean, I know everyone says that, but, like, I've been dealing with bronchitis for, like, over 3 months. Like, my entire college experience has been me sick. So, get to know your health services in your school. But seriously, like, it's so important you take care of your health and your mental health, because it directly correlates. I made the mistake of going a little too hard in the beginning, and I got real sick for a very long time, and I'm still sick. I mean, we struggle with sickness. It happens all the time. So it's so important to take care of your health. Take showers regularly and all the hygiene stuff, but, like, also, like, take your vitamins, because if you're eating them ramen noodles packets like there's nothing else, you're gonna need fucking vitamins. Get vitamins, work out, kind of hypocritical for me to say, but like, you know,
Join a pack class.
do fitness in general, or just do something that will keep your physical state well. Drink lots of water. Yeah, I've had my health struggles, and I'll probably continue to have them for a long time, but like, it's just inevitable when you're beginning in college. So just go into that, knowing that. And if you're like me, if you're like a crazy person taking 18 credits a term, again, hypocritical for me to say, don't do that your first term. You will like die, because I almost did. It's crazy. The amount of time it takes for your classes, you can't plan that. So your first term, if you can take 10 credits and get away with it, do that. But if you have scholarships, obviously go buy your freaking scholarships, because they pay for your college. Oh my gosh, I could talk about scholarships all day. But if you can take the lowest amount you can take possible, because you don't need all that extra craziness. And that's coming from me, who graduated early from high school. So like, I wanted to take as many credits as I could. Just don't. It ain't worth it. You can make time for that later. Listen, in high school I may be doing a lot of stuff, but I was healthy, and that's something I miss dearly. So keep that in mind. But yeah, seek mental health support. It's been a struggle for me, and it's probably a struggle for a lot of people, but it's really hard. Like, seriously, like, some nights, and I'm gonna be so transparent, some nights you just want to cry, because you miss home, or you miss not having stress in your life, or not as much stress, and you just want to cry. And like, that's valid, and like, you should cry, but like, your university or college should have mental health support there, like, for you, or, you know, start something that will help you mentally, because yeah, it's a struggle. And if you've heard my story and you're like, oh, I'm doing the same stuff with high school, and I'm having no problems mentally or emotionally, okay, but that's not college. As much as I would love to think that my high school experience is like college, it's not. And so you're going to need to seek out resources, and that's going to be a thing. And it's going to be a thing consistently until you graduate, so just buckle in for that. But yeah, being an adult is hard. Being in college is hard. And especially if you're young like me, it's hard. And you're just going to have to just push your way through. And like, nothing about transitioning is going to be easy, unless you're, oh my gosh, I got this. But most of the time it's not. And here's another thing, if you see people and you ask them, oh, how are you adjusting to college, and they're like, oh yeah, I'm doing great, let me just tell you, they're lying to you. Even if it's a roommate not being really respectful, even if it's they're failing a class, even if it's they're crying themselves to sleep at night, they are faking it, okay? There's gotta be something wrong in the transition. It can't go smoothly completely. It can't completely be fucking fine, because it's not. So just keep that in mind. And, you know, and let's say they're just so freaking lucky and they're just easily transitioning, well, that doesn't mean they're not going to hit bumps later on. So it might be good for you to go through the bumps now, so then you don't end up like them and you're a couple weeks already into the term and you're freaking out. So yeah, that's pretty much adult life here in college. But yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a way to cheat this system, but I can talk about my little tips and tricks, but I won't be talking about that in this video. But yeah, stay curious, be observant of everything around you in college, and be you, be yourself, because you are important and you're valuable to the university and to college, to the people around you. You have inherent value. So know that and use that. Okay, bye.